20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
August the 16th, 1745. Prince Charles Edward Stuart has landed in Scotland in a daring attempt to win back for the Stuarts the crown of Great Britain. 60 years ago, his grandfather, James II, was expelled from the British throne. Feelings ran high even then, and groups of supporters of James, calling themselves Jacobites, took an oath not to rest until the Stuarts were restored to their rightful place. The intrigue of the last 60 years in Rome, France, and England has come to fruition in the Highlands of Scotland. Already, the fighting has begun. At the High Bridge in Lochaber, 12 Highlanders have tricked 2 companies of government troops into defeat. Captain Keith Windham of the Royal Scots has been taken prisoner by Ewan Cameron and is being kept under house arrest at Ardroy.
Ewan said you'd be very tired, so I let you sleep on.
He was right. I think I should have slept forever if I hadn't been wakened by the sound of that music.
You'll not be used to hearing the pipes, Captain.
And I think this morning was only the second time I'd heard them in my life.
Neil McMartin is a good piper, but he's not so good as his father was. I'm sorry he woke you, though.
No, not at all. If he hadn't, I would not have had the pleasure of your company now, Miss Cameron. It's an ill wind that blows nobody good.
I don't think Neil would like you calling him an ill wind.
Captain Windham, what I have to tell you may be news to you or may not, but in either case the world will know it soon. Today is Saturday, and on Monday the Prince will set his standard up at Glenfinnan.
And you, no doubt, Mr. Cameron, intend to be present and to cross the Rubicon in his company.
All Clan Cameron will be there. For that reason I shall be very busy today and not at home. I am sorry there is so little to entertain you here, but I think my aunt can offer you some of Mr. Fielding's novels. Whatever you do, I advise you not to wander away from the house and its grounds. You might...
You are going to say I might be tempted to try to escape, are you not?
I have your parole of honor on that, and I know you will not break it. I was going to say it might not be safe if you strayed too far from the house wearing that uniform.
Safer! Lavierak! Lavierak! Lavierak!
Boy, let me help them.
Tiny go show!
Yn side of Jarach.
You best put that away. These men don't realize it, but I'm a prisoner of your master.
You may be the laird's prisoner, but why did you come up here? It was to spy on us. There is a way with prisoners, and there is a way with spies.
You know I wasn't spying. How could I possibly know there were cottages here? I was taking a walk.
You walked all this way for pleasure, with your legs so bad that yesterday you had to ride the laird's horse, and himself walking beside you like a gilly. My father wants to see you.
Olate.
My father is almost blind, and he does not have the English, but I will be speaking for him.
Fiach me dood, Onneke.
He asks if you will permit him to touch you and to speak with you.
Since the rest of you treated me so rudely and insulted me, I can scarcely refuse a request made so civilly.
Fine, come on, fach a chorgdiach day.
Did you meet with a cora yesterday?
What's that?
It's a bird, a big bird.
Was you meeting a heron yesterday?
Yes.
Hora!
It was a heron that frightened my horse.
She, Sakura Vaum.
Nan faskerish gechunne kenjian.
Did you meet with the bird near water?
Yes, and why is he asking me all this?
My father is a tie-share. He has the second sight. He saw that the heron will be making the lair to meet with you.
You will answer to your master for any harm you do to me.
We are foster brothers to himself. He knows that all we do is done for him. If we should be mistaking his will, order that your leg should make you slip into the loch.
It will be enough to make him swear to silence, Lachlan.
I will swear to nothing. I took an oath to the king. Do you think I will take another oath to his enemies?
There! Abra! Claire! We shall find a stone to keep you in the water, as we did for the Curragh.
God forgive me, Captain. Are you hurt?
I shall live. You came just in time, Mr. Cameron. I'm very glad that your savages obey you, at least when you're present.
You will remember that I warned you, Captain.
If your men wish to murder me, am I safe at your house?
My men do no murder, Captain. If you'll allow it, I'll take you back to the house, away from these savages, as you so rightly call them.
No, thank you. I will find my own way back. I wouldn't dream of keeping you from preparations for rebellion.
I should prefer to go with you. I had no right to take your sword and surrender if I could not protect you from my own men. I would not have had this happen for my life.
Apart from the loss of a couple of buttons, and a great deal of dignity, I'm not much the worse for it.
But I am.
Mr. Cameron, you were right. You warned me, and I ignored the warning. Please, forgive my bad manners, and accept my assurance that I will forget all about it.
You mean that, sir?
Certainly. And I would be most obliged if you'd keep my folly from the ladies. Soldiers' self-esteem is very easily hurt.
You are very generous. It is my self-esteem that will be spared by silence.
Well, it's very easy to be generous when it seems less likely that one is to be weighted and dropped into the lock.
Would they do that to you? I do not think I can let men who have put such disgrace on me go with me to the prince.
I would be less than human if I tried to prevent you from revenging me. However, if you were to condemn them to stay at home, I think you'd be doing them a favor.
Combien de temps seras-tu avec le prince?
Je n'en sais rien. Ça dépend sur beaucoup de choses.
I hope you enjoyed your walk this afternoon, Captain.
It was highly instructive, Miss Cameron. I was introduced to some unusual customs. I must say the people paid a great deal of attention to me.
They are very hospitable people.
Yes, indeed. They were so pressing that had Mr. Cameron not appeared on the scene, I should still be out there, somewhere.
What sort of man are you? A stranger who must cause my Ewan bitter grief. Oh, God, I wish I were not Highland. I wish the second sight did not run in my blood. Is my love's destiny so bound with yours? Oh, happy Ewan. Tomorrow with a prince. All I do is hope. All I give is prayer. And yet, I give what no one else is to give. Ewan himself. But a gift is gone from one's hands forever. Alone comes back. Yes, I lend Ewan to the prince. Willingly. Gladly.
Where is Ewan?
Out in the hills. He has so many things to do before he leaves tomorrow.
And the captain?
I think he's down by the loch.
Do you know what these are?
They look like the buttons from Captain Windham's uniform.
Neil McMartin brought them to me. It seems that when the captain was out walking yesterday, they set on him thinking he was a spy. Heaven only knows what would have happened to him if Ewan had not arrived in time. So now, of course, the McMartin lads are afraid that Ewan will leave them behind when he goes tomorrow. Neil's like a whipped dog and Lachlan's like to cut his throat. They sent these in the hope it would earn Ewan's forgiveness. We must find some way to return them in secret.
Why in secret?
Well, Ewan was so careful to keep the incident from us that secrecy must be very important to him. Do you think he'll keep secrets from you when you're married?
If he does, I'll know it's something I'd best be ignorant of.
Oh, if you can believe that, my dear, you'll make a very dutiful wife.
I'll try to. If I'm ever to be a wife at all.
Oh, my dear, do not say that.
I'm sorry. Never fear. I'll never let Ewan see how cowardly I feel.
My darling, I've hardly spoken to you all day, and now I must ride to Auchnacari for Lochiel's final orders.
And tomorrow you go to the prince. Oh, how I envy you, seeing him so soon.
It may not be so long before you see him yourself. In Perth, maybe, or even Edinburgh.
They were brought by Neil McMartin.
The captain must have lost them during his walk. I'll give them back to him.
Neil told how he came to lose them.
He's afraid you'll leave him and Lachlan behind tomorrow.
It would disgrace them as they have disgraced me.
Leave your piper and Lachlan? If you will not take them for your own sake, take them for the sake of the prince. You say that only the Camerons and the MacDonalds have declared for him. He will need every man you can bring him.
I see who will be chief of this clan when I marry you, miss. I'll take them, but I'll not tell them so till morning. Old Angus should never have let it happen.
Why did he?
He says that since I am to meet the captain 4 times more, his life could not have been in danger. I hope we do not meet again.
Why not? He seems a pleasant enough young man, though not a happy one, I think.
I will be late in returning.
I shall wait up for you. Miss Cameron, when a Taisha sees, is it not a warning of death?
Not at all, my dear. He often sees a man's future wife. The captain is to do great service for Ewan.
And bring him bitter grief. I must know what kind of man he is. Sorry if I've disturbed you, sir.
You did disturb my thoughts, Miss Grant. But I assure you that you did me a great service in doing so.
Surely, sir, on such a beautiful evening, your thoughts were not entirely unhappy.
I was reflecting. There are a few things in my life I can remember happily, and they are at best illusions.
But your family, perhaps your wife.
My family I would rather forget. I have no wife. She's not dead. I need no sympathy on that account. No, the only thing I have in my life is my career as a soldier. You must admit, it doesn't look too good at the moment. May I talk to you? No, I'm not going to subject you to any gallantries or flirtation. May I ask a favor?
Ask it, sir.
You must believe when I speak that my aim is to help you, protect you, and Mr. Cameron. And does he realize what a hopeless adventure he's letting himself in for? Only 2 clans have joined the prince, but were they all to join, they would not have a hope of defying the military power of the crown. I would ask you, therefore, to think very hard before you ask him to risk so much on such a gamble. If I were to conceal the fact that I had been brought here as a prisoner, then no man could say that I had not been treated charitably as an injured man, a guest. It is not too late to keep him back from joining the rebellion.
Keep him back? Do you suppose that I could? That if I could, I would?
Things would look better if the French had sent an army.
Then it would have been safe to declare for him. Oh, that is your English way of thinking, not ours. Because he came alone and trusted himself to us, is that not the best reason why we should follow him?
If that is the way you feel, Miss Grant, there is nothing further to be said. I can only wish a speedy end to this whole business. For the longer it goes on, the more victims it will claim. And I would do a great deal to make sure that Mr. Cameron is not among them. Most heartily we beseech thee with thy favour to behold our most gracious sovereign lord, King James.
You're not to bed yet, Captain, but I must apologize for visiting you so late. I have come to tell you that you're free from daybreak. There is one condition.
And that is?
That you promise not to bear arms against the prince for the remainder of the campaign.
For the remainder of the campaign. For sure, that will not be long. But your condition is impossible.
Why? It cannot be dishonorable. Captain Scot has accepted it and has gone to Fort William to have his wounds tended.
Would I be right in thinking that Captain Scot's wounds were such that he would never be able to fight again? In that case, he could accept your condition. I, on the other hand, will be well enough to fight again very soon. My sword is the king's, and I would not promise, even if I could, not to use it against his enemies. Mr. Cameron, I gave you my parole of honor not to escape, and I think it is now time that I asked you for it back. From now on, I should prefer to be treated as a prisoner on the usual terms.
I'm afraid that is impossible, sir. If I left you here, there would be no one to guard you.
That is your predicament, and it is for you to find an answer to it.
If you'll not accept your freedom on the condition Lochiel offers you, I will have no choice but to take you with me tomorrow. Still on parole, if you please.
I have asked you to return my parole.
And I have said that I cannot do it.
Do you seriously think that I will be paraded through your mountains by your savages and make no attempt to escape? Or is this merely your way of forcing me to accept your degrading condition?
I would never try to force you to do what you consider degrading, Captain.
I promise you, you shall find me a great nuisance, Mr. Cameron.
I will speak to Lochiel again in the morning.
God, how you've fallen on that man. Can you make no decision for yourself?
Have you not a commanding officer, Captain Windham? And do you not obey his orders?
Touché. But if you do not give me back my parole, I shall withdraw it from midnight tonight.
In that case, I shall put Neil and Lachlan in here with you, lock the door, and sleep across it. Do you withdraw your parole?
No, you may keep it. And I will keep my privacy. And let us hope your commanding officer can find some way of cutting this knot that binds us together. I will be ready to leave with you at daybreak tomorrow.
I am sorry that I can offer nothing more. Good night.
Good night.
I regret the inconvenience we have caused you, Captain Windham. But I do not see why the single condition we impose is so completely unacceptable to you.
Sir, would you accept your freedom on condition you never fought for your prince again?
If I am captured, I think it very unlikely that I shall receive such a charitable offer.
Our positions differ greatly in that, sir. I am not a rebel.
Nor are we rebels. We are fighting to place our rightful king on the throne usurped by the Elector of Hanover.
We must agree to differ on that.
I am not happy about your position, Captain. I would like to spare you the indignity of being carried everywhere with us like a captive in a Roman triumph. But I see no alternative, unless you change your mind.
So be it. I can no doubt survive the discomfort and the shame, which will not be entirely mine.
Will you continue your parole?
I cannot do that, sir.
We have no forts, no strong places where we can hold you prisoner. And you will learn a great deal about us, which might be useful to our enemies. If you will not give us your word, we must guard you closely, perhaps even bind you. That would be uncomfortable for you and embarrassing for my young cousin Ewan.
I shall be sorry to cause him embarrassment, but I see no alternative.
You'll forgive me, Captain, if I say I have matters more weighty to attend to than my cousin's embarrassment. Will you extend your parole for 7 days? Perhaps by then we may have thought of something.
Yes, but if you have not, by the 7th day after my capture, you must treat me as a common prisoner. For I promise you I shall take every opportunity to escape. Thursday, 22nd of August, 1745. I have travelled with Clan Cameron since Tuesday. It has been a mortifying journey through sullen mountains, surrounded by sullen savages, and in sullen weather. I have seen the Pretender unfold his standard and heard 1,000 Highland voices acclaim that decorative young man. It was all very romantic and absurd. What an army! Its weapons are few, often antiquated, more often useless. The shortage of horses and bad roads have obliged them to bury 12 of their 20 swivel guns in the marsh. Good evening, Mr. Cameron. Been burying the rest of your artillery?
I'm glad to see your spirits have not been dampened by the weather, Captain Windham.
Oh, no, I've been entertained by your strategy. I can think of no other commander who's prepared for his campaign by burying most of his artillery. I admit I don't see the point of it, but it could revolutionize warfare. It could mean tomorrow you could bury your muskets as well. From what I've seen of them, they'd be better off buried.
Perhaps the enemy will not be aware of the state of our equipment. And is it not a fact, within your own recent military experience, that it is not what the enemy's strength is that is important, but what we suppose it to be?
I deserve that reminder of last Friday's fiasco. My remarks were in bad taste. I apologize for them.
And mine were in worse taste. For since you are forced to witness our preparations against your will, you are free to make any observations you choose on them.
Since you are so intent on finding an excuse for my bad manners, I can only accept your reading of the case and cry quits. If fate were to reverse our situation and make you my prisoner, I hope I should be able to show an equal generosity.
You think we shall meet again?
Oh, no. I'm no wizard to foresee the future. I expect nothing. Yet were it not for the fact that we should meet as enemies. I'd like to think we could meet again. You're surely not going to sleep in that wet plaid. Have my coat.
There is no need. A wet plaid is warmer than a dry one.
My parole runs out tomorrow. The Highlanders are so engrossed in their preparations that with luck, they will have forgotten to count the days and hours of the day.
23rd of August. Fassifern, home to Dr. Archie Cameron, brother of Cameron of Lochiel.
This room will serve us for the night. You will find the bed a luxury. I shall sleep here. I must remain accustomed to hardship for the fighting.
Whereas I, as a prisoner, have no more battles. There's no need for delicacy when you're so clearly right.
There are many things I must attend to. I think our supplies will run to supper. When it is ready, I will come and fetch you to it.
You have forgotten that in a few minutes my parole will have expired. Then I intend to attempt my escape. Forgive me for saying that when you are more used to the military life, you will not repeat the error by which I hope now to profit. I shall remember with pleasure your kindness during this pilgrimage. Your most obedient servant, Keith Windham, Captain.
We must send the heavy baggage forward by another route. It will have to run the gauntlet of the English troops, but it must travel by better roads than we do, if it is to arrive at all.
Well, then let me convoy it.
No, Archie. I will send Ewan and his men. He is more able for such an adventure than you are.
He's gone! The English officer who was my prisoner. He'll go straight to Fort William with information about our arms and numbers. I'll go after him.
No, Ewan! I have more important things for you to do.
But the information...
I doubt if he can tell them anything they do not know already. If he escapes, it'll be no great loss, and you will be rid of an embarrassment. I doubt if he will get very far. He will be very conspicuous in that uniform.
He's not wearing his uniform. He's wearing a plaid he stole from me. He left me this damned impertinent letter and these coins to pay for the plaids. If ever I meet him again...